in this video we will be talking about functions in sequence. So I'm just going to go ahead and press the play button. This is an interactive story on elementary. The link of it is down below in the description, as well as a link to the student workbook. There's a voiceover, so we'll be listening to it for most of the time, and I'll just be helping along the way. So let's go. Functions in sequence. Basic coding concepts. Click on Watch the video to be redirected to the YouTube video, or click Get Started to start learning about functions in sequence. So there is a student workbook that goes along with this lesson. If you click on Student Workbook, it'll redirect to a new page where you'll see Functions in Sequence, Coding Challenge, Student Workbook. Basically, you can go in and click the Remix button. This will create a copy of this story for you to work on. So this student workbook only has the challenge example as well as the other coding challenges. There's 3 of them. And to let you take a look at it, if you go to the event graph side, you'll see that the blocks are all on the page, and you will need to connect the blocks together in order to make the code work. So functions in sequence will be in the curriculums, and if you assign it to your classroom, then this workbook will be set as a remixable template for your students. So you won't need to actually send them the URL for them to remix. All they have to do is enter into your classroom, get into the assignment, and then click Start Writing and select the right remix, and there'll only be one. So let's go back to functions in sequence and get started. So I'm going to click Get Started. So what are functions in sequence? Well, functions in sequence is a set of functions or actions that must be completed in order, one after another. A sequence is basically a set of instructions where we tell the computer, first do this, then do this, and finally do another thing. If you want a review about what are functions, click on the green button, Learn About Functions. Otherwise, let's get started with an example, and you can click on See Example. Let's take a look at our coding challenge example. Click on the Start button to begin the animation. Write down the instructions for the animation. Okay, I'm going to click the Start button in 3, 2, 1, start. Were you able to see the animation? Make sure to write down the instructions for the animation. So I'm going to play it again. 3, 2, 1, start. And one last time. 3, 2, 1, start. So when I click on the Start button, first, what happens? And then, what happens? You can hit the pause button if you need some more time. Otherwise, I'm going to click on See Answer. So the instructions we give to the computer are as follows. First, the fox bounces. Then, the fox rotates a full circle. Click on Start Coding to see how we can connect the blocks together. Okay, let's start coding. Let's take it step by step. So first, when I click on the Start button, the fox bounces. How can we connect these 4 blocks together? Click on See Answer when you're ready to see the answer. So what object are we clicking on? And what object is bouncing? If you need more time, click the pause button, and I'm going to click See Answer. Remember, we want to connect the purple circle to the purple circle, and then the white triangles to the white triangle. So when I click on the Start button, I want to bounce my fox. Click on Continue to see how we can sequence the next function. Okay, so let's now sequence. So right now we have one function, but we have two functions that we need to sequence together. So we need to play the functions one after another. So let's continue. So now we have our second function, the rotate block. How can we connect the blocks together so that the fox first bounces and then rotates a full circle? Click on See Answer to see how we can connect all the blocks together. So there's two steps to this animation. Step 1, bounce. After he's done bouncing, then step 2 is rotate the fox. Can you figure out how to connect the blocks together? Let's take a look at the answer. When we sequence functions, the functions go one after another. Take a look at the white triangles and follow them like an arrow. So first, on click of the Start button, we will bounce, and after we finish bouncing, we will then rotate. Don't forget to do the last step, which is to change the angle from 0 to 360. Are you ready for the coding challenges? Well, let's get started. So there are 3 coding challenges. Are you ready? Can you solve them all? Click on Challenge 1 to begin. Let's go! Coding challenge number 1. Click on the Start button and write down the instructions for the animation. Okay, are you ready? Make sure to write down the instructions. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's try that animation one more time. 3, 2, 1, go. And one last time. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's take a look at some of the hints. Try to answer the following questions. What does the puppy do first? And what does the puppy do next? So in this example, we have 2 functions. So what's happening first? The puppy is moving first, and then what's happening? If you need more time, you can press the pause, and I'm going to start coding. Can you figure out how to connect the blocks together? How many connections are there? When you think you've got the answer, click on See Answer to see how we code all of this. Okay, are you ready? How do we code all of this? So, on click, what are we clicking? We're clicking the Start button. And what's moving? And what is bouncing? If you need more time, press the pause, and I'm going to go ahead and see the answer. In coding challenge number 1, when we click on the Start button, the puppy moves to the right 100 pixels and then bounces. The animation has 2 steps. First, move, and second, bounce. So the move block moves an object relative to its current position. What that means is if you put X is 0 and Y is 0, the puppy won't move at all. And if you want the puppy to move to the right, you'll need to put in a number like 100, 5, 20, 500, and he will move that many pixels to the right. Can you figure out how to move the puppy to the left? Think about that. And I'm going to go ahead and go to coding challenge number 2. If you need more time, pause again. And if you're ready, let's go. Let's get started with coding challenge number 2. Click on the Start button to begin the animation. Write down the instructions for the animation. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Wow, that was a lot of animations. Can you write down what happened first? And then what happened second? Let's watch it again. 3, 2, 1, go! And let's play it one last time. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! So let's take a look at some of the hints. Try to answer the following questions. What happens first? Then, what happens next? How many functions do you think are used? Remember, functions are our actions like move, bounce, rotate. So functions are our actions. They are move, bounce, and rotate. So I'm going to play the animation one last time and I'll try to help you answer the first 2 questions. So what happens first? Let's see. I'm going to press start in 3, 2, 1, go. Right, then left. Then something else happens. What happens after he moves right and then he moves to the left? What happens? Once you're done with your instructions, then we can start coding. If you need more time, press pause. So let's go ahead and start coding. It's time to connect our blocks for coding challenge number 2. Can you figure out how to connect the blocks together? How many connections are there? Click on See Answer to see the answer to this coding challenge. Take a look at the Move block. You'll see that X has 0 pixels. We'll need to change this value to make the cat move to the right and to the left. You'll also need to change the degrees for the rotate block. What are some values that you can put in? So let's think. Do you remember how many pixels are needed to move the cat to the right? Well, Here's my hint. I already say it. 300 pixels moves the cat to the right by 300 pixels. So how can we move the cat to the left 300 pixels? And how many degrees does the cat rotate? So if you need more time, you can hit pause, and I'm going to go ahead and click See Answer. In coding challenge number 2, the cat moves to the right 300 pixels, then moves to the left 300 pixels, then the cat rotates a full circle, which is 360 degrees, and finally the cat bounces. In order to move an object to the left of itself, you'll have to use a negative number. So this is 4 functions in sequence, one after another. So we have to wait until the function before is finished before we start the second one. So we can't move to the left until it's done moving to the right. Great. So I'm going to click on challenge number 3 so we can go ahead and start that one. Are you ready for the last coding challenge? Click on the Start button to begin the animation. Then write down the instructions for the animation. If you need to see the animation again, click on the Reset button before clicking on Start. Whew. Okay, are we ready? Let's start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, try to write down the instructions. I'm going to reset the animation. Okay, are we ready? 3, 2, 1, go. And we'll play the animation one last time before we go to the hint. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So let's take a look at the questions for the hint. Try to answer the following questions and be as specific as possible to what object is animating. So first, what happens first? What happens next? And finally, how many functions do you think are used in this animation? Okay, so at the beginning, we see that the fox and the speech bubble are not on the page. So somewhere, somehow, we have to make these objects appear. Okay, so let's try it, and I'll help you out with the first couple functions. So when I press start, the fox fades in, then he moves to the right, and then some things happen. Can you figure out the rest? You can pause here if you need more time. And I'm going to click on Start Coding so we can see how we can connect our blocks together. It's time to code coding challenge number 3. So in this animation, we have 2 objects that are being animated. Make sure that you connect the right object to the right function. Can you figure out how to connect the blocks together? How many connections does the fox, image 0, have? And how many connections does the bubble, la la la, have? So try to answer those two questions. And you can hit pause if you need more time to figure things out. And let's go ahead and see the answer. Take a look at the answer to coding challenge number 3. The code says the following. When I click on the start button, fade in the fox, then move the fox 100 pixels, then fade in the speech bubble, la la la. And finally, we're going to bounce both the fox and the speech bubble together. So we see that the fox has how many connections? 3 connections. It fades in, it moves, and then it bounces. And the speech bubble, la la la, has 2 connections. It first fades in and then it bounces. So if we take a look at the bounce block here, the bounce function, you'll see that the object port, the circle here, there's 2 connections. So this means that it's bouncing 2 things, the fox and the speech bubble. So let's wrap it up, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the next button. And that's it for functions in sequence. Congratulations, you finished the coding challenge. Up next is functions in parallel, or functions occurring at the same time. And that's it for this video. See you in the next video for functions in parallel. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment in the description below, in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.